Scott Finley here with the Georgia Plumber Trade Association. Today I'm at Rheem corporate headquarters. They were nice enough to let me in to show you some options on their displays here. And what we're looking at right here is a hybrid electric water heater. This is a 50-gallon unit. And basically what we have on top of this unit is a thermal heat pump, just like you see on your heating and air system outside. You get the furnace upstairs in the attic, condenser outside, but it runs as a heat pump where basically it's taking hot air from the outside to, in the wintertime, go ahead and make the coils warm enough to put heat into your house. And then in the summertime, it's taking whatever cool air is outside to go ahead and bring cool air into your house. Same concept right here. If you come around here for a second and show right here, you can see basically what you would see on the inside of your heating and air system up in your attic. There's that little heat exchanger system right there. And what it's doing is it's taking this it's taking the hot air out of the environment and taking those coils down into the unit right here, and it's going ahead and it's using that hot coils to heat the water rather than just these two electric elements here being used to heat the water. And so this particular unit right here is going to be about 4 times more efficient than your average electrical unit, and it's going to bring down your cost, proportionately with using this as opposed to your traditional electric unit. But I want to talk about a couple applications because a lot of what our class is designed to do is, once again, a lot of us plumbers are going into a place, we take out a 50-gallon gas water heater, we're throwing a 50-gallon gas water heater right back in, when sometimes that's not always the best application. But for example, the other day, I was at a house and I was swapping out the sewage ejection pump for a customer, and he asked me, he said, "Hey, can you go ahead and pipe my dehumidifier and set me up a little trap so I can have that piped and goes down into the sewage ejection pump can?" And I said, "Sure." I went ahead and did that for him. And I said, he goes, "Yeah, because every day I come down to the basement, I'm taking this gallon of water out and I dump it. It's part of my morning routine." And so I was glad to go ahead and set up that dehumidifier to run it into a sewage ejection can for him. But if you look at what we got right here, we've got a natural dehumidifier and on top of this unit that can go ahead and take care of all his dehumidification needs in a damp basement anyway. So rather than running the electricity off the dehumidifier and running a electric unit for heating his water in his basement, he can kill 2 birds with 1 stone by having this essentially do a much more efficient job of heating his water for his whole house and dehumidifying the air for the basement. So like a typical water heater installation, you got to have your TNP blow-off line piped to the exterior. But on this one, just like you would for an air conditioning system, you got to have a condensation drip line, and we've got it, pumped into a little trap down here. So you got to have a condensation drip line for that. Now, by code, the International Plumbing Code, you cannot tie these two together. The TNP and the condensation drip line cannot be piped together. And so that's a consideration. So when you're thinking about where you might want to install these, and a pre-existing unfinished basement would be a good option where they wanted the extra dehumidification, they wanted the little extra environmental cooling in their basement, that'd be a good option for them. Another good option, we see a lot of tank water heaters, mainly gas, but tank water heaters installed in people's garages, new home builds. And so this would be a good replacement option in one of those as well, because you got people pulling their cars in. That's providing a lot of ambient heat for the house that, you got insulation between your attic, between your garage area and your house, but still some of that heat's going to seep through, and then that's running your air conditioner for your house overtime. Well, this can take the heat that's given off by those vehicles and turn that into heat for your, give you some hot water there. Typical to an electric installation, you'll need you have your disconnect switch per code. So you still got to have your disconnect switch local to the water heater per code. Same thing for that. But really that's it. If you're switching over from gas to electric. I looked up Georgia Power offering you up to $500 rebate on your bill to switch over. Cobb EMC, which is my EMC corporation, offers you basically the same rebate to switch over. I'm going to go ahead and below the video of this video, I'll put a list of all of the EMCs and what their local rebates are. For example, I looked up Sumter EMC. You guys are down by Columbus, Georgia. You guys offer a $250 rebate for putting in this unit. So this unit here, because of all the added equipment, it is going to run a little bit more expensive. If you're looking at what you may be buying your 50-gallon gas or electric for versus one of these, if you just go on homedepot.com and look at some prices, you may be paying 2.5 times more for one of these units. However, you've got both the local EMC offering you rebates of up to $500 and a federal tax credit of 30% of the cost of installation for one of these. So let's say, for example, your total out the door price for a customer is say $3,000. They're able to take their bill, turn around and get a $900 tax credit. Okay. One of the nice options on this water heater is, we look down here, it's got the inline leak protection guard right here. And what that's going to do is, just like putting leak protection after the valve on your house to protect whole house leak detection, this particular unit, we got the cold line coming in right here, and that's going to go ahead and protect it from the tank leaking itself. And also, they have a band all the way around the bottom of the unit. So if this is installed in a pan, which it should be per code, if this is installed in a pan, that's going to go ahead and automatically detect any water in the pan and go ahead and that little valve right there slams shut and shuts off water to the unit in case of it was experiencing a leak. Now over here, they've got another setup I want to show you. If you had a customer in a new build situation or in an existing situation, and you don't have it where you do have a lot of that hot, steamy, ambient air, you can see that this one's set up with a, they got a vent shroud for it right there, and a vent shroud for it right there. It's hooked up to, standard HVAC piping, because you do want to run essentially, where possible, hot, humid air coming in, and then it's going to go ahead and cold, dry air is going out. And that might be a situation where you want to go ahead and pump that cold, dry air up to the house and have a damper switch where you can open and close that during the summertime to go ahead and let that air in, maybe close that off during the winter time. But it gives you an option to bring in outside air if you're in a situation where you don't have particularly warm or moist air, like we were talking about over on the other